Hey everybody, Max Kevin here. It's a little cutie podcast. It's not too long. Oh, dreams don't come true, kids. Dreams don't come true. Oh, you have a dream for the future? Well, guess what? It's not coming true. Dreams don't come true. Dream, believe it's not gonna happen. Oh man, I just watched Dominick Reyes get knocked out. Oh, Dominick Reyes. Oh, my boy. My boy, Dominick Reyes. My boy Dominic, he's an athlete. If you guys don't know about Dominick Reyes, he's a UFC fighter. His background is his like a lot of these MMA fighters, they got like backgrounds in like boxing or wrestling. His background is athlete. He played baseball. He played college ball. He's just an all-around athlete. If you ever seen Dominick Reyes' body, he's like all torso. Like his legs are like really short, but his torso makes up for it. You know, like he doesn't like his. I don't know when God designed him, he like placed his hips like a few inches lower. If you're editing something in Photoshop and you like give a picture of a body and you just kind of move the hips down, like you don't like the whole human is like the same height. You just move the hips down. That's what God did with Dominick Reyes' body. Anyway, if you're a UFC fan, he fought John Jones back in the day. God, this must have been, I think it was before COVID. That's like 2019. I can't remember when exactly. But he was undefeated in the UFC. Then he fought John Jones for the title, and many people thought he won, myself included. He definitely did. He definitely won 3 rounds. I don't know what the judges were doing. He definitely beat John Jones. Everyone knows it. Everyone knows it, even though the official records don't say it. Everybody knows Dominick Reyes beat John Jones. And anyway, after that, he went on to get knocked out 3 times in a row. Oopsies. So he had this amazing performance versus the greatest of all time, which pretty much everyone thought he won, except for the judges, because they're corrupt, paid off by, whoever. And then he gets knocked out 3 times in a row. Looks like his career's over, pretty much. And then he comes back. He's on a 3-fight win streak, 3-fight, knockout win streak. He got his mojo back, dude. He got his mojo. Now he's fighting Carlos Ulberg for the number 1 contender fight. Whoever wins this fight gets the next title shot. If he wins this fight, he gets the title. After losing to John Jones, getting knocked out 3 times, then coming back, getting 3 knockout wins. It's like they make movies out of this. They make movies out of this stuff. If he wins this fight, goes to fight for the title again against maybe Uncle Live, which he'd probably never win, but they'd still make a movie out of it, dude. It's a comeback kid story. So anyway, I'm watching this fight, and I don't know. I really wanted Reyes to win just for the story. Just for the story. But then Ulberg just knocks him out with like a jab. Oh god, his chin is gone. Reyes' chin is gone, man. It's totally gone. Man. Dreams don't come true, kids. Dreams don't come true. Anyway, props to Dom. You're a champ, bro. Everybody knows you won that fight against John Jones. Even though your chin's gone now. Everybody knows you won that fight. You should have been champ. Oh well, dreams don't come true. I should have been a millionaire, but, whatever. That didn't happen. I should have been a millionaire, but this global banking mafia decided to short silver for 2 more years, and now it's out of control. They can't short it anymore because everyone's taking physical delivery. I don't know if you guys seen the gold and silver prices recently, but as I was explaining to everyone 5 years ago when I thought I'd be a millionaire, you guys want to know? Okay, this is how the global metals market works. If you're a big buyer, if you want to buy large amounts of gold or silver at wholesale prices, let's say you're like Nvidia, they need the metal for their components, or any electronics manufacturer, or any like solar panel, whatever. You need people need iron, people need copper, people need gold and silver, to make stuff, people like you and me, we're not exactly going to the supermarket and buying blocks of copper, but anyway, So there's these metal exchanges. One of them is called the COMEX. That's the biggest one. It's in America. There's another one called the London Metal Exchange. That's of course in London. There's another one in Hong Kong, I think. I can't remember. But basically the biggest one's in America. It's called the COMEX. And so the minimum contract is 100 ounces of gold. So the minimum, so at today's prices of $3,700, you need $370,000 to buy one contract. That's the minimum order. So this is only for people who really need large amounts of metal for business purposes or whatever. They go through this. They go through this the COMEX, right? And the COMEX, however you want to pronounce it. Most of the contracts, so 90% of the contracts sold, people don't actually want the metal. They're just speculating, right? They're just speculating on the price, right? So they don't actually have the metal. So like every month, let's just say, I don't know how many contracts actually sell, but let's just say there's contracts for 100 kilograms of gold, but they actually only have 10 kilograms of gold, right? So not only are 90% of the contracts not settled for the metal, like it's a 9-to-1 ratio of speculators to people who actually buy it, who actually need the money, or who actually need the gold, Only 10% of people that buy the COMEX contracts actually need the gold for their industry or whatever, right? So 90% of the contracts are sold to people who are just speculating. And usually what happens is these speculators, they don't actually want the gold. They're just trying to make some money, right? So, let's say it comes to the end of the contract and the COMEX doesn't have the gold to give to the people with these orders. So they say, okay, hey, instead of giving you the gold, how about I just give you like a 1% increase in the value of the price? So it's like, you bought this contract for $100,000 worth of gold. How about I just give you $101,000? And I'll give you no gold. I'll just give you $101,000. Right? And that's basically the majority of the orders, right? So basically what happens is people can also short. You can short this market, right? You can sell a bunch of contracts for gold you don't have, and that's basically like how they manipulate the price, right? So the majority of people own these contracts because they're trying to make a little bit of money, but then if they just short all the buy orders, the price plummets, and then the people holding these contracts, they're just like, oh fuck, all right, I'll just take the loss, I'll just take the money, I never wanted the gold in the first place. I just wanted to make a little bit of money by the price. So they've been doing this for years, right? But recently, central banks, companies, they want the gold. They don't want, So like the contracts comes due, and the COMEX doesn't have the gold. So they're like, hey, how about we give you 1% extra? And they're like, no, fuck that. I want my gold. And like, okay, how about we give you 2% more? And like, no. And like, okay, how about we give you 5% more? And like, no, I want my gold. Give me my gold. And like, okay, how about we give you 20% more money? They're like, okay, I'll take the money. That's basically why the price of gold has basically doubled in the last what's it been, year and a half? About a year and a half. Price of gold has gone up because there's more and more of these contracts. People are saying, no, I don't want the 1%, give me the gold. And like, okay, how about we give you 20%? They're like, okay. So anyway, that's how the whole market works. So anyway, what was I talking about? The price of gold and silver is going up. The price of gold and silver is going up because more people are demanding the physical. More people are demanding the physical. Central banks are buying gold. They're ditching dollars. Central banks around the world they're no longer buying dollar-denominated bonds. Everyone's blaming Trump here. Everyone's blaming Trump for the tariffs and inflation, but really it's central banks around the world, and no one is buying American bonds. They're selling their dollars. They're buying gold. What is it? Morgan Stanley? One of the big brokers. I forget which. The great Peter Schiff. He informed me that Morgan Stanley, they used to recommend that you their investment recommendation was to own 60% of your wealth in stocks, 40% of your wealth in bonds. They just recently switched that, 60% stocks, 20% bonds, 20% gold. That is a huge announcement. That is a game world-changing announcement that one of these major firms is telling you to no longer buy currency and to instead buy gold. It's anyway, buy your gold. I told you guys 5 years ago. I really thought the world would wake up, but apparently took 5 years. 5 years longer than I expected, so I lost all my money. I should have been a millionaire. Oh well. Oh well, if I probably was a millionaire, I probably wouldn't be making this podcast right now. I'd probably just be partying on some island, I'd probably go to Turkey, get a hair transplant, and then I'd probably go to some Southeast Asian island, where there's a bunch of like poor women with big tits, and just be like, "What's up, ladies? I got hair. I got money. Let's party." That's probably what I would be doing. Anyway, whatever, Everybody has a 2020 mirror, Okay, let's talk about America. You guys want to talk about America? So, big stories in America. Two big stories in America right now is Jimmy Kimmel. He got canceled. Well, he got canceled and then he came back. I mean, I don't really make these podcasts very often, so ever since my last podcast, Jimmy Kimmel not only got canceled, but he also came back. And I guess he got canceled because he said the guy that shot Charlie Kirk was a MAGA supporter, which I guess he's not. I don't know. His boyfriend is transgender, or his girlfriend is transgender. I don't know. So I don't know. His family is MAGA or whatever. Yeah. There's all these fights online. I was actually talking with the other comedians about this the other day. It's like there's all these fights online, but it's most likely just bots. They're just bots talking to each other, Like we were talking about AI and how useless it is because fucking ChatGPT doesn't even know when the buffet in Las Vegas is open. Gave me the wrong answer. And me and my mommy walked over there. And my mommy with her bad knees, we had to walk like half a mile over this buffet. And the guy's like, "Oh, it's closed." I was like, "Oh, but the fucking AI told me it was open." He's like, "Yeah, can't trust AI. This is Las Vegas, all right?" Anyway, goddamn fucking ChatGPT. Oh, ChatGPT is going to take over the world, huh? It's going to take everybody's jobs. Doesn't even know when the goddamn buffet's open. Yeah, fucking bullshit. Anyway, so, we were talking about AI and how it's kind of actually useless. Like a lot of people think it's going to take everybody's job. AI is going to take your job. But it's kind of, I mean, maybe in the future it will, but right now it's fucking useless. Anyway, so I was saying that like I think the main reason that AI exists is to write online comments and sway narratives, like control narratives online. That's basically the main use of AI. This is what they were doing in 2016. China and Russia, right? They were spending all their money on online comments, not favoring either Trump or Hillary Clinton, but rather just starting fights. China and Russia were spending all their money in 2016 on just starting fights online. They weren't even trying to sway the election one way or another. They were just trying to make everybody angry, right? And that was in 2016. That was before ChatGPT, dude. Imagine what it's like now. Like even now, like every time I see online comments, I just think is this AI? Like how do I know? How do you know this is a real person? You can't know, You can't know. Even this podcast, you don't know. Maybe it's the AI voice generation. You goddamn robots take over, man. Little Cutie podcast isn't real. Anyway, so about Jimmy Kimmel being canceled there, it's like all the people online are all the bots. I don't even know. Like honestly, I think it's all bots. So I don't even know why I'm commenting on that. I don't even know why I let this affect me or why I even comment on this. But let's just assume that it's humans and not bots. All right. So for the sake of the podcast, let's just assume it's humans and not bots. So all these people are saying like, "Oh, Jimmy Kimmel got canceled. Oh, First Amendment. America's fascist. What about the First Amendment, dude? Free speech. Oh, there's no free speech in America. First Amendment. If you say something against Trump, you get canceled." But that's not what the First Amendment means. Okay? The First Amendment means you can't get arrested for speech. right? That's it. You can't get arrested for speech. The government cannot arrest you for speech. That's what the First Amendment says. I don't know. You can go read it. I don't know if you ever read any Constitution. It's not that. A lot of people talk about the Constitution, but it's only like 30 pages. No one's ever read it. Anyway, yeah. So the online bots or the people are saying that there's no first, but that's not what it means. You can get fired for saying shit. Like, you can't just go up to your boss and be like, boss, you're fat and ugly and you suck at your job. And he's like, all right, well, you're fired. It's like, well, you can't fire me. First Amendment, dude. What about free speech? I thought this was America. South Park did it with Randy, right? He's like, oh, I'm sorry. I thought this was America. I can't defend myself. I thought this was America. I'm sorry. You can't just go up to your girlfriend and be like, hey, bitch, you're a fat whore. You don't suck my dick good enough. She's like, all right, well, I'm breaking up with you. And I'm like, whoa, what about free speech? What about free speech? What? You can't break up with me. I thought this is America. Where's my free speech, So Jimmy Kimmel, he's, so whatever. ABC fired him for, I don't know, not lying. Probably he just got some bad information, I do love Jimmy Kimmel, even though he's a liberal cuck. I'll always love him for the Man Show, and win Ben Slant's money. And he just seems like a fun dude to be around, He does cry a lot, though. He cried when Cecil the Lion died. So he is kind of emotional. He is kind of an emotional dude. And he does kind of peddle. I mean, I understand. He sold out. I understand. I would also sell out if someone were to give me millions of dollars just to peddle left-wing bullshit. I would also sell out. Oh, fuck that. I don't have any morals, dude. I want millions of dollars, bro. I want to party on the islands with a full head of hair, alright? Yeah, so anyway, I guess that's all I wanted to say about free speech there. Free speech means the government can't arrest you. It doesn't mean you can't be fired, Of course, California does have a law that... so, like, the same thing happened to Gina Carano. I don't know if you guys know Gina Carano, former UFC fighter. She was in that TV show, The Mandalorian. She was in The Mandalorian, and she made a tweet like, "My pronouns are blah blah blah." I don't remember exactly, but then she got fired. But and then Disney made a tweet saying we're firing her because of her comments, right? And in California law, you're not allowed to fire people for political reasons. So because Disney announced that's why they're firing her, she had a lawsuit against them, So don't announce on Twitter why you're firing someone. Just say, oh, he's, if it's Jimmy Kimmel, don't say, we're sick of his comment, his anti-Republican comments. Just say he's losing us a bunch of money, so we're firing him, Jeez, man, none of these people consult with their lawyers before they tweet. Oh, God. Anyway, I guess that's all I have to say about that. Okay. No, that's not all I have to say about that. The reason why Jimmy Kimmel and Stephen Colbert also are getting canceled, a lot of people say, is because their parent company wants to merge with some other media agency, right? And they need government approval for this, right? So they don't want to piss off Trump because he has influence and he can stop the merger of these companies, right? So all these people, this is what I don't understand about left-wing people, right? They're pissed off at Trump because Jimmy Kimmel and Colbert are being canceled because they're anti-Trump. But the reason why that's a problem is because their parent company needs government approval to merge. Right? Okay, so why do these parent companies need government approval to merge? It's who gives a shit? All these monopoly... Okay, I don't know if you guys hear about these, monopoly protections or whatever, There's never been a monopoly that the free market created. The only monopolies that ever exist is because of government, right? So, there's this boogeyman. It's there's going to be a monopoly that exists, and then they're going to raise prices, and so we need the government to stop this monopoly. But it's never actually happened. They're protecting us from something that doesn't actually happen. It's like South Park said, man, bear, pig. Man Bear Pig's coming. We need the government to stop Man Bear Pig. Well, Man Bear Pig doesn't exist, you dumb fuck. Anyway, people who support government are dumb, I guess is what I'm saying. Yeah. And, if you... like, okay, I understand monopolies against, like, food or whatever, it's like... But a TV... who gives a shit? You don't have to, you don't need TV. No one even fucking watches TV anymore, man. Who the fuck... Anyway. Why the fuck do we don't need the FCC anymore? Who gives a shit? They don't do anything. Okay, there's one more thing I want to talk about is like everyone is up in arms about Colbert and Jimmy Kimmel being canceled there, but that's out in the open. That's the cancellation that we see, People are well aware of this. Even though okay, first of all, no one even fucking watches TV anymore. Who gives a shit, But like it's out. The censorship that people really don't see is the algorithm censorship, right? Like this podcast, I said some bad words, but apparently if you say bad words in the first 30 seconds, the algo doesn't promote. It'll never spread your video, your audio, And there is choice words. There's certain words you're not allowed to say, and that if you say them, the algo won't promote your video, right? And they're using AI now to in voice recognition, so they know every single thing you say in any online video, any clip, any audio thing. They're all analyzed by AI, and if there is certain narratives that these companies don't want, they just change the algo, and it never, like, you get banned, you get canceled, but no one even knows because the algo just doesn't spread your stuff to the masses, right? And that's the real cancellation, right? The algo cancellation is the real cancellation. It's not Jimmy Kimmel gets canceled because he said something stupid and, he's not making any money for his parent company. Who gives a shit? The real censorship is the algorithm on the internet, right? That's the narrative. That's the real narrative. So, anywho, I guess that's all I have to say about that. Oh, this is long. This podcast is pretty long, huh? This podcast is pretty long. There's one more thing I wanted to talk about, but maybe I'll save that for a different podcast because I think making podcasts more than 22 minutes is not good for the algo. Anyway, thanks for listening. I'll see you tomorrow.